2018 BMW M5 to 600 horsepower, all-wheel drive, and 189 mph. In 1979, Americans watched a total solar eclipse pass over the continental United States. 8 years later, another phenomenon crossed our paths, the first BMW M5. It was rare, it was heroic, and most of all, it was a four-door sedan that, at the height of the horsepower-robbing 1980s, could outgun Corvettes and Ferraris. For 2018, the G30-based M5 is once again a rolling NASA space station of computers and sensors propelled by a force-fed V8. That should sound impressive, except that two-ton luxury sedans that accelerate to 60 miles per hour as hard as a McLaren F1 are now normal, everyday occurrences. If it seems as if the latest M5 won't warp space-time anymore, well, blame the Dodge Charger Hellcat and the Porsche Panamera Turbo. Still dumbfoundingly fast. Unlike the regular 5 Series, the 2018 M5 is more of a revolution than its sheet metal suggests. It's the first M5 with all-wheel drive and without an option for a manual transmission. BMW's MX Drive is rear-biased and funnels torque through an electronically controlled limited-slip differential similar to those on the X5M and X6M SUVs. In the M5, though, the system can disconnect the front axle for true rear-wheel drive hooliganism that, from our brief experience in a prototype, makes this 4,350-pound, our estimate, lug feel like an E90 M3. Even in regular mode, the all-wheel drive setup will allow the rears to slip slightly for douchebag-safe maneuvers on public streets. In 4WD Sport, with the stability control set to M dynamic, slip angles widen, and more torque routes to the active but non-torque vectoring rear differential. For those times when you really want to burn through the last 1/32nd of tread, the M5's stability control is fully defeatable in rear-wheel drive mode. All that tire smoke comes courtesy of the familiar S63 twin-turbo 4.4-liter V8, fortified with 24.0 psi of boosted increased capacity of the direct injection system. More efficient intercoolers, a revised oil pump, and a new exhaust manifolds bring the twin-scroll turbos into immediate action. The net result is 600 horsepower, identical to the final special editions of the F10 M5, and 553 pounds-feet of torque, up 37 pounds-feet. A peak that is maintained from 1,800 revolutions per minute to the power peak at 5,700 revolutions per minute, 550 revs sooner than the 30-ARA M5. Those ratings might have been shocking a decade earlier, but now are the minimum the M5 needs against the 605 HP Audi RS7, the 603 HP Mercedes-AMG E63, the 550 HP Porsche Panamera Turbo, the 640 HP Cadillac CT-SV, and the 707 HP Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat. But with an estimated 0 to 60 mph time of 3.2 seconds and a claimed 189 mph top speed with the optional M drivers package, the new M5 will positively shear the doors off the accountant's 530i, shred the comptroller's 540i, and melt the lawyer's M550i. Corporate America has never been fiercer. One car, thousands of ways to move it. Gone is the 7-speed dual-clutch automatic transmission shared with the M3, M4, and M6. In its place is a conventional 8-speed automatic that locks its torque converter immediately after launch. It offers 3 shift maps on top of a sport mode and a manual mode with wheel-mounted pedals. The exhaust uses a new Helmholtz resonator that lightens the entire system by 11 pounds, although we'd invoke the ghost of that German physicist on M's acoustic engineers, who continue to pump digital noise into the cabin. Only now, a button for M's sound control allows occupants to fine-tune the fakery. Speaking of buttons, it wouldn't be an M5 without 2,187 ways to set the steering, suspension, stability control, shift modes, gear shift mapping, throttle, and all-wheel drive. It's gotten so out of hand that BMW converted the preset buttons into bright red thumb tabs above the steering wheel spokes, as if to remind you to keep changing them. At the rate of one different combination per day, it'd take an M5 driver 6 years to try them all, at which point it would be time to restart the process in an all-new M5. The M5's front track is an inch wider than the M550i's. Slight modifications to the rear suspension, including new wheel bearings and a steel X-brace, increase stiffness and response. According to BMW, firmer anti-roll bars and stronger toe control links help improve steering accuracy. Mildly staggered Michelin Pilot Sport 4S rubber, 275/40 ZR19 in front, 285/40 ZR19 in the rear, is standard, and 20 inches in the same widths are optional. Standard 2-piece brake rotors, aluminum hat and iron friction surface, or lighter than conventional discs, with 6-piston calipers biting down on 15.6-inch front rotors and single-piston units applied to the rear 15.0 inches. Gold-colored brake calipers are a status symbol among BMW drivers, since these indicate the presence of the optional carbon ceramic rotors, 0.2-inch larger in diameter up front, which drop 51 pounds of unsprung mass. First in Frozen. When the M5 arrives next spring, 50 buyers can choose an M5 First Edition out of 400 units worldwide in Frozen dark red metallic, which pairs difficult-to-maintain matte paint with black gloss kidney grills, exhaust tips, 20-inch wheels, and window trim. Inside, white leather with red contrast stitching is used throughout the interior. All M5s sport a carbon fiber roof, quad exhaust tips, and the usual aggressive chin spoilers and air intakes. Inside, the telltale signs that this is no ordinary fully optioned 5 Series are the red start button and the illuminated M logos on the seats. Starting prices will likely creep closer to $100,000, the current norm among the highest-powered German artillery. Even if the 2018 M5 won't totally smoke a 707 HP Jeep Grand Cherokee, savor this moment of wretchedly excessive gas-powered cars and appreciate them for the celestial blessings they are.